Welcome everyone to another top 10. I'm Old School Gamer 1971. Millie, Lloyd, everyone, hope you're all having a great day. Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, please like, comment and share. Check out my channel and subscribe, as it helps the channel grow and puts a big old smile on this old face. Today's top 10 is puzzle games. Like a lot of people, my first real experience of the puzzle genre was Tetris. However, unlike most people, it was not on the Game Boy, not even the NES, but on the Amstrad CPC 464 in 1987, and soon after Klax. At the time it was a refreshing change, there was nothing else quite like it out there. Soon enough it got competition, but for a short time at least, it was king of the hill. I did get into Pang on the arcade, and whilst not totally a puzzle game, it had movement and you shot a harpoon gun, but tactics were involved, and yes, I do still play it today. I loved Lemmings when it was released for the Amiga. I also liked Columns on the Mega Drive. This was good and had a lot in common with the likes of Tetris. I've ploughed hours into these games. I remember getting Buster Move 2 for the original PlayStation and playing it round marks. The speed of some of the levels was completed in a fraction of a second. They were a lot of fun, and shout out to you, Mark. And then it went quiet for me on the puzzle game front. It's only really been on PlayStation 4, or maybe the odd PlayStation 3 game. My love for the genre has come back, and so I thought it may have been time to make a little old list. And here it is, my puzzle game list for 2019. So my number 10, Pick-a-Pix Colour, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2018 and was developed by Lightwood Games. So Pick-a-Pix Colour is a nonogram game for the uninitiated. It tells you horizontally and vertically how many boxes to shade. It all comes together to make a simple picture. However, in this game, colours are involved. This changes things. It starts off simple and gets more complicated the further you get into the game. I enjoy the core game and the colours make it better. This is the next level in the genre. Sometimes easier, sometimes harder, but always fun. I picked up many of these games by this developer. This is my favourite so far, but I've only played a couple, so we'll have to see. But I do feel that I had to add one of these games. Get them, they're really fun. Whether you have 10 minutes or an hour to play. Also, it's a pretty easy platinum. Moving on to number 9, Doki Doki Universe, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2013 and was developed by Human Nature. The first time I saw this, I thought, what the hell? You play as an abandoned robot, QT3, whose best friend is a balloon. The game questions you as much as the robot, as it has no wrong or right answers. And as weird as this is, it has a charm to it. You must visit asteroids, moons and planets, talk to people, get to know their likes and dislikes, and do tasks for them to fulfill their needs. In return, they will give you presents. This is being done so you can gain some humanity and the factory will not wipe you. This is a great little game for kids. Also, it's easy to go through, but they have to be able to read. This is a PlayStation exclusive. But if you bought it for the PlayStation 4, you got it for the PlayStation 3 and Vita versions in with the price. This is a novel game that came out early on for the PlayStation 4, but for me at least, it has not been forgotten. Number 8, Clockwork, A Tale of Glass and Ink, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2016 and was developed by Artifex Monday. When putting this list together, I was thinking about which game to put on here from the hidden object genre. And whilst this is not the best looking game in the genre, it still does look pretty damn good. And this game came instantly to mind. And yes, it's what it says on the tin, and it does feel like those kids' books of old with our hero trying to save their old mentor while solving puzzles and hidden object scenes. This is the game you would expect, but it's one of the better ones. I like puzzle games for nighttime plays, and this one was platinumed in about a week. It's a short game, but because I was enjoying the game, it soon popped and the game was done. PS, the story is rather tasty too for a game in the genre. My number 7, The Escapist: The Walking Dead, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2015 and was developed by Mouldy Tooth Studios. So if you've never played an escapist game, you have to escape a prison whilst crafting, making enemies / friends at the same time, and being smarter than the average prison guard. After some great DLC, and before they made the second game, they made a Walking Dead game using the same game engine. It takes inspiration from both comic book and TV series, using characters from them both. You play as Rick Grimes, and it has recognisable locations and more crafting options than the earlier game. It also has more freedom in gameplay and where you can go. The game is balancing tasks, scavenging, crafting, and good use of spare time. This will all depend on how far you will get. If you can get past the graphics, these are great games, and while sometimes harsh, they always feel possible. But you also learn from your mistakes quickly. I think this was a good use of the license, and certainly a fun game, especially if you're a man with a plan. I just never said it was a good plan, and everyone in the Walking Dead universe is now dead in my game. Moving on to number 6, the Talos Principle, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2015 and was developed by Crow Team. This is a first-person puzzle game where you are a robot. You must overcome physics and technology-based puzzles. This has a story, it's quite an interesting one, but the puzzles are what we are interested in today. As with most games, they start off easy enough, but soon get difficult. The graphics are pretty damn good, and the voiceover fits in with the game. This game does have a Myst flavour and that kind of thing to it, but I can actually play this and get somewhere as opposed to looking at the screen for 10 minutes and then putting on something else instead. This is a peaceful game, hence why it's on my puzzle list. Whatever it is, I like it and it earns its way onto my list. Number 5, Cube Director's Cut, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2015 and was developed by Toxic Games. And we have another first-person physics-based puzzle game. But here it's all about the blocks and manipulating them with your glove. Again, it starts off easy and soon it gets hard. This does borrow from Portal a little, unashamedly actually. But its puzzles are all its own here, and the worst bit is, you know it should be easy, and you know you should be able to do it. And whilst this doesn't reflect in its number, thinking maybe it should have been a place or two higher, this was the first game that came to mind. It's easy to control and I do enjoy the game, even if the angled look on my face says otherwise. PS, each colour block has a specific action. Does this make anything easier? Nope, not in the slightest. Moving on to number 4, Mousecraft, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2015 and was developed by Crunching Koalas. So this kind of mixes Lemmings and Tetris and it works really well. Due to the level design and ideas of saving 3 white mice is one of them. Okay, say it with me now, it starts off easy and soon it has you scratching your head. You have to use blocks to help your mice make their way through to the cheese, to safety so to speak. With rats and traps standing in your way, great fun. It's the kind of game in a way, after you've finished playing and you are stuck, you will be thinking about it hours later. Finally you'll do it, and then you move on around 4 to 5 levels, and then it's rinse and repeat. Sometimes I feel on the same wavelength as the designer, and sometimes I hate the guy. I really do. PS, it's a great game and one of my favourites. My number 3, Batman VR, came to the PSVR in 2017 and was developed by Rocksteady Studios. This was one of the key reasons I bought the VR, a Batman game by Rocksteady. But this is a Batman game with a hell of a difference. It goes back to the original comics, so Batman in this game is more of a detective. In the early days, Batman was supposed to be the world's greatest detective. This all works really well, as it adds a whole other dimension to the character video game wise, and is totally different to the other Rocksteady Batman games. In fact, different to any other Batman games. The reconstruction of the crime scenes does look impressive, and finding solving clues can be tricky. I was impressed by this, and it was a very different experience and a must for fans, and also different from everything else on this list. My penultimate entry, Snake Pass, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2017 and was developed by Sumo Digital. This is a great game, it's a lot of fun to play. You play as a snake who is collecting crystals, bubbles and coins. Let us not question why. This is a game of skill to even work out how you're going to negotiate obstacles, and then actually doing it is a whole other matter. Unlike other games, this maybe has about 3 easy levels, as long as you don't expect to collect everything. And yet graphically it looks like a kids game that should be easy. The coins are real tough to collect. This again is quite a novel game, and I can't remember anything close to this. Frustrating at times, with a stupid look on the snake's face, makes me think I can do this. The problem is, it's fun and as addictive as hell, if you see that as a problem, that is. And my number 1, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, came to the PlayStation 4 in 2015 and was developed by Starbreeze Studios. The story matters in this game, one of the best stories of this generation. The puzzle elements are great. To me, what sets this apart is the gymnastics you put your hands and fingers through. Now if you play 2-player with one controller, which you do if you want to play 2-player, that's not too bad, maybe a little close for friends. Single player, you have to control both brothers at the same time. It makes the controls a little harder, as in a lot harder. The further you get, the harder still. Even movement from A to B is a challenge at first. I played this all the way through in one sitting too, and I want to go back and finish up the trophy list. This game is a challenge and I loved every second of it.
Hey, Emma.
And it's done. I hope you all enjoyed this top 10. There is plenty more content like this on my channel. Check it out if you would. Spread the word. Enjoy your day one and all. Old School Gamer 1971 signing off.